All right, so let's do some introductions here. Again, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from, give us an idea of how many bucks or points you may have. We will not associate your name with your bucks or points. Hey, Fred from Maryland, good to have you. Michael from the Atlanta GA, good to have you. By the way, tonight's webinar is a team webinar. This is not a corporate JubiRev webinar. Obviously, we'll be talking Jubi. We want to talk about some strategies given the major announcements made on last night. And we also want to salute so many of our teammates out there that have been pre-building at the hardest stage to build. And we'll talk about that when we get started. Hey, Dale, good to have you. Susanna, good to have you. Susanna from France, one of our tremendous leaders over there. Oh, congratulations to you, Susanna. Congratulations. Congratulations. Randy, good to have you. Alice, good to have you. Matt, good to have you. We'll give you some buck/point totals. Some of these may be bucks, some of these may be points. 35 Jubi bucks, 10,000 Jubi bucks, someone with 5,000 Jubi points, fantastic. 1,200 Jubi points, 250 Jubi bucks, congratulations. Again, we won't associate your name with your bucks or your points. This just gives us an idea of how your business is starting to form, and this will be even more important next week when daily revenue sharing starts. Alice from Florida, good to have you. Matt from Michigan, Johnny from Washington, my buddy Foy from Florida, fantastic to have you, Foy. Joyce from the Show Me State of Missouri, good to have you. Zeke and Jerry from South Carolina. Khalil, happy birthday. What day was it, Khalil? It was just a couple days ago, wasn't it? Happy birthday to you, my friend. Susan from Tennessee, good to have you. George from Australia, what time of day is it over there, George? Now, I know I'm 1 hour ahead of the U.S. East Coast here in Chile, and I think you're about, what, 14 hours ahead of the U.S. East Coast? Ryan from California, fantastic to have you. Linda from Texas. Pema from Alabama. Let's give you some point/buck totals. 1,200, congratulations. 250, congratulations. 12,000, congratulations. 13,000, congratulations. 890, congratulations. By the way, we'll never make anyone feel like a second-class citizen. I'm as excited about someone with 35 bucks or points as I am with someone with 350,000, because once the daily revenue starts, looking like April 8th, short of any major cataclysmic technological event, then the rewards per point, whatever that reward happens to be for that particular night, is going to be the same across the board. And we have seen people with this type model start off maybe with smaller point totals, but then in time, in the process of time, really build those very large point totals to what became a significant income. So congratulations, 250 points, 150, congrats, 500, 222, 2,500, 2,500 Jubi bucks. Someone has 220 Jubi points. Congratulations. All right, let's see here. We've got Tony from Kentucky, Isaiah all the way from Cambodia, Lana from Ontario, Kenny from Maryland. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that, buddy. Susanna, this is being audio recorded. Video recording will be tough where we are, but audio recording, it is being done. Khalil from Canada, welcome. Elaine from France, fantastic. All right, we've got our French folks here in the audience. Let's see, Happy from Texas, Liz from Louisiana, Kristen from Rhode Island, Clarence from my home state of Burlington, North Carolina, Isaac from Florida, Minnie from New York City, Alice from Florida. All right, let's give you some more point totals here. 2,500 Jubi bucks, 220 Jubi points. 1,000, and this is nice and specific, 1,009 Jubi bucks. I love that. 10,000 Jubi bucks. Congratulations. That's a really good total to start off with, because as you start giving those bucks away, those are going to compute to points. 512 Jubi points, 6,700 Jubi bucks. 500 Jubi bucks. Fantastic. It's 6 a.m. in Cambodia, 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Fantastic. All right, 10,000 Jubi points, Jubi bucks, 700, 1,250. I don't know if how I'll pronounce this. My buddy from Ireland, is that Jiri or Yuri? I don't know if the J is silent there or not. So I messed one of those up. I maybe messed both of those up. Please forgive me. But good to have our team in Ireland here. James, good to have you, buddy. Brian from South Florida. Vern from Idaho, Rob from Connecticut, Bev, I am so excited about what you are doing out of South Africa. I met a couple of your countrymen, countrywomen when we were in the Dominican last week. We met a lovely couple. I forget where he's from, but she's from South Africa, and they've got a beautiful home there in the Dominican, but they were looking to move back to South Africa. So Bev got a chance to meet a fellow country lady of yours. Carol from Massachusetts, James from Houston, Texas. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Matthew from Jamaica, Brian, fantastic. Barry, fantastic. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. Paulette, excuse me, from Jamaica. Matthew from Jamaica. Oh my gosh, my Jamaicans are in the house here. Charlie from Virginia. Nedra, and you know, a webinar would not be complete without Elaine and Andy from Louisiana. All right, people are starting to pile on. We are recording?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Okay, people are piling on. Thank you so much for putting your information in. More people are coming on and on, but it's time for us to go on and get to work here. My lovely wife and I send you greetings from the town. It's not really a town, it's a fairly large city of Santiago, Chile. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous city. Very, very, probably one of the cleanest major cities. They've got several million folks that live here. But boy, they keep it really clean. The weather has been absolutely phenomenal. We've been in a very high level asset protection, offshore tactics workshop, and that won't be that we won't talk a lot about that today. When we get back to the States, maybe in the next week or 2 weeks, we'll have a session specifically to talk about some things that we've picked up here, particularly for our teammates there in Europe. For our teammates there in Europe, for those of you that are using the euro or what we call in the Eurozone, we know there's been some major financial issues there. Obviously, here in the U.S., our country, our beloved country, our country 'tis of thee, is completely broke, and there's still a facade going on. People still take the U.S. dollar. As long as they take it, great. If and when they stop, that won't be a good thing. So we'll be talking about some things in time that all of us can begin to do to help protect us from any additional global financial meltdowns. And unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do not believe that 2008 was the worst of it. I believe that we'll have situations that will be far worse than that, and all we need to do is take a look at our dear friends over there in Cyprus, and what has happened in Cyprus could very well be coming to a few other countries. So one of the reasons we came down here is to learn things that we didn't know. We don't know what we don't know, not only to protect our family, but to also share some information as much as we can, or at least give you some contacts that can help you in preparing your family. I'm not a sky is falling guy. I'm not a negative guy. As many of you know, we tend to stay on the positive 99.99% of the time. But we did have our eyes open to some things, and we want to share some of that with you in due time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on and get started here tonight. I want to start off by what we're going to do a lot tonight is I want to go through, give me a moment. What I want to do is I want to go through some of the announcements that our president made on last evening. And in going through those announcements, really make sure that we understand what's happening with these announcements and what this means for our various businesses. Now, as most of us should very well know now, commissions went live on last night. And for so many people, the business became real, became relevant to them on last night. Okay? I have to salute those of you that stepped out, and many of you did this. You stepped out on faith. You put your good name, you put your good reputation on the line to promote JubiRev and Jubi Max. Part of that because you believed in me and my lovely wife Karen. Part of that's because you believed in whoever enrolled you. Maybe it had nothing to do with me. Part of that is because you were hungry, you were looking for something, and then obviously you got a chance to start to get to know J. Joshua Beisel, who I have nothing but amazing respect for. And the things that you're seeing, we're seeing JubiRev, Jubi Max do things in the pre-registration, the pre-launch, soon to be soft launch with daily revenue right around the corner. We're seeing our company do things that companies that were even generating $10 million a day did not do from a technological standpoint. We're seeing our company, JubiRev, Jubi Max, in its pre-registration, its pre-launch, do things from a technological standpoint. Something like being able to give Jubi Bucks to existing customers. So when you get a customer today, if you didn't give them the full complement or the max that you could give in terms of products in Jubi Bucks, and you earn next week daily rewards in the form of Jubi Bucks, that you'll be able to go back to that customer who you have not given the maximum to and give them more Jubi Bucks. That's something that in this industry, we were with a company and we shouted that for months and months and months, and for whatever reason, that still never got done. And yet here, it's already a reality. The fact that our customers can now go in and get products and can actually use a credit card to pay for shipping. Again, we've seen companies in the industry that have been around for several months, some of them generating tremendous capital, where a customer couldn't do that, and we're already seeing that happen. All right, so let's cover some key points from last night's webinar. All right, so commissions were made live, and I want to show you. Now, what I'm about to show you, if you did not earn any commissions or you didn't earn a lot of commissions, please understand that I'm not showing you this to make you feel like a second-class citizen. We will never, ever, ever, never make anyone feel like a second-class citizen. Babe, could you turn that all the way down, please, if you wouldn't mind? That was my fault. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. What it is to do is to my role in any time we do a team, and even if I'm on a corporate webinar, part of my role is to help stretch your vision. If you're Joe Average and you're Sue Average, that may be you today. I started in this industry. I promise you, I was Joe Average. I'm not Joe Average anymore. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I had mentors in my life. By the way, why don't you jot this one down? Jot this one down. Your best friend loves you just the way you are. Your best friend loves you just the way you are. Your mentor loves you too much to leave you the way that you are. When I first got into this industry, I was Joe Average, okay? I did not see the potential that I had, but there were mentors in my life that saw potential that I could not see, and they spoke that into my life. Now, it didn't happen right away, but ultimately I started to believe what they were saying, because they had a greater vision. They were able to see things about me that I wasn't able to see. So when I share what I'm about to share, if you didn't make one dime from the commission run because you haven't begun to build your referral network, or you referred some folks, they joined, but they did not upgrade, don't you feel bad about that. Let's just stretch your vision, and one day this could be you. We saw people that earned, now I'm rounding up or down here, we saw people that earned $1,000. We saw people that earned $9,000. I'm rounding up or rounding down. Maybe it was 8,700 and some change, or maybe it was 9,100 and some change. I'm rounding up or rounding down. We saw one person, they only enrolled, hear me, one person, and they earned $5,600 in commissions. Jot this one down. Jot this one down. You are just one recruit away from an explosion. And I know if my mom's on the webinar, I didn't spell explosion right, okay? You are just one recruit away from an explosion. Give me just a moment, please. Babe, could you text him and tell him to go to... Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, all right. Hey, Vince from Vegas, are you out there, buddy? Let me know. My wife was reading a text from you. I just don't know if that's still... Vince from Vegas, if you're out there, in your questions box, just put a yes, okay? All righty. Elaine, if you would do me a favor. Fantastic. Thank you, buddy. Elaine, I see your question there. If you would send a support ticket on that one, okay? All right. So congratulations, $5,600. Now, I want you to get this. This particular person who made $5,600, they recruited just one person. Now, that one person that they recruited has gone on to build a fairly substantial network, all right? But you're one recruit away from an explosion, one recruit away from an explosion. I'm aware of someone else who made $12,000, almost $13,000 in commissions. They personally only enrolled 3. Well, what happened with the people that they enrolled, they happened to enroll 3 go-getters. I don't know if all 3 of them are go-getters or not, but they earned $12,700 in commissions. We saw people at the $8,800 range. We saw someone at the $14,500 range. We saw somebody else at the $14,000 range. And my system is saying I may be experiencing some audio difficulty.
You're breaking up. Yeah, you're breaking up.
If you can hear me just fine.
I can hear you now.
I'm breaking up?
You were breaking up just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Okay. And Queen, just do me a favor.
Yes.
Anytime you do hear me breaking up, just let me know if you would, okay? Okay, so congratulations. Okay, congratulations. Whether you earned $1 or 10,000, or there were folks who earned more than what I'm showing here, but these are the ones that would allow me, or they sent information to me to let me know what they did. So congratulations there. Now, this is what's important about what happened last night. So commissions are live. Looks like they run now hourly. I don't know if and when that will be in real time. There's a huge drag on the server for that, so that may be why it's running hourly right now. I'm not sure. Revenue sharing is set to start next Monday night. Okay, next Monday night. Now, I would assume that would mean we come to the webinar, the corporate webinar on Monday of next week, and then that night revenue sharing runs, so that by the time you get to your system, let's say Tuesday, is probably when you're going to see your first daily revenue. I don't think that's going to be Sunday night going into Monday, April the 8th. I think it's going to be Monday night, April the 8th, going into Tuesday, April the 9th. Okay? So that's set now. Please be mindful. We're still dealing with technology, though I have never been more impressed than I have been with our tech team. I have never, from a technological standpoint, seen such a smooth pre-registration, pre-launch now going into a soft launch. Never. The first day that we came out of the gate with the pre-registration, I know there was a server issue for a couple of hours. That was probably the biggest deal we dealt with. Then we had over a weekend, we had something happen, and the tech team had actually taken the weekend off, and when they saw that something was not working right, they promptly got back to work even though they were taking the weekend off. We've got a phenomenal tech team. We've got a phenomenal support team. Now, the founders' bonuses, let's make sure we understand what they were, what they are, and the first wave. The founders' bonuses, some of you, I saw in some of our Skype, by the way, if you're not a part of any of our Skype following, my Skype ID is GIF-PM. Simply hit me on Skype and let me know that you're part of JubiRev and you want to be a part of one of the Skype chat rooms. There's a couple of them that I tend to be a part of, and I'm sure there's plenty more out there that I'm not even aware of. But we can get you added. You can always check with your enroller to see if they're in one of those Skype rooms. They can potentially add you. If not, if you hit me on Skype, GIF-PM, and just say, hey, but you got to let me know that you're in JubiRev and you want to be added to one of the Skype chat rooms, okay? Why was I talking about Skype? I don't know where Skype came up. Okay, so in any event, in Skype, I saw a few people saying, how is it that I have Jubi points? Because at that time, they had not generated or hadn't gotten any customers to give away Jubi bucks. Well, remember with the founders bonus, there were two parts to the founders promotion. Part number one was based on your purchase. If you made a purchase of Jubi bucks during the founders period, which obviously is now ended, but if you made a purchase of Jubi bucks during that period, then once you give your Jubi bucks away to customers, you would earn a 15% Jubi point match. Now, many of you have not realized this just yet because you've got Jubi bucks, but you haven't necessarily started to get customers. I do want to salute those of you that have already started that customer acquisition. Jesse Meyer, very proud of you, buddy. And I forgot who it was in the Skype chat room. Someone in the Skype chat room, and I forgive me if you happen to be here, they were talking about how they were so impressed. They got, I'm assuming maybe a friend or a loved one of theirs, to register as a customer. They gave them 400 Jubi bucks. That customer then went and promptly used 390 plus Jubi bucks, covered the shipping, so we know the credit card processing is working there, and they were they were extremely ecstatic as they should. All right, so for that person, for instance, that gave away 300 Jubi bucks, okay, they're going to get an additional 15% match. If you typically, when you give away a Jubi buck, you get 1 Jubi point for 1 Jubi buck. But this person would see 450 Jubi points versus 300 because of that additional 15% founders promotion. The second part of the promotion was based on the Jubi buck purchases of your personally enrolled. So if you personally enrolled me, and if I made a $1,000 Jubi buck purchase, you enrolled me, you enrolled me, you enrolled me, I made a $1,000 Jubi buck purchase, you would normally get commissions of anywhere from 5% to as high as 10% on that paid to you in your eCash. All right? I'm not talking about that as the promotion. The other thing that happened that was amazing is that you would get a 10% Jubi point match. So not only would you have made, in this example, as much as $100, 10% of the 1,000 Jubi buck purchase I made in your eCash commissions, you would have also gotten a 10% Jubi point match, or 100 Jubi points going into your Jubi point totals. And that's where a lot of folks forgot that or maybe missed that. And so in some of the Skype rooms, people were saying, hey, I've got Jubi points and I haven't yet registered a customer to give away Jubi bucks. That's why you got those Jubi points. And so what I want you to understand about how powerful that was is that if someone generated $1,000 in commissions, okay, then we know that their personal enroller earned some additional Jubi points because this person here probably purchased some Jubi bucks themselves. They got commissions, so on and so forth. Okay, and so that's what's exciting is that we know of several folks that are already over, and I mean several, already over 10,000 Jubi points just from the founders promotion, just from this second part of the founders promotion. Okay, so now let me congratulate you if you earn commissions. Let me congratulate you if you earned Jubi points. Now let's talk about something that I was not aware of at all until we got on the webinar last night, and that was this first wave bonus. This first wave bonus. It is huge. Give me a moment. Whoops. Now, I can tell you I've had, whoops, we spent a couple hours and for today connecting with leaders and connecting with folks that were connecting with us on Skype. And I'm going to tell you this. I had quite a few leaders, quite a few folks that have large followings that basically said, you know what, I've held back up to this point. You know, and I understand that. You know, we've seen some turmoil in the industry. We saw obviously the company that was the biggest company in the revenue sharing world. There were some regulatory headwinds. I will never throw that owner under the bus. I love that man dearly. He changed lives. But the bottom line is he didn't fight. If he had fought, then this discussion would be a different discussion. And so we know that that's impacted a lot of people, really disappointed, really hurt a lot of people. Then there were other companies that came about in the revenue sharing space. Some that are here still, some that floundered, some that maybe launched sooner than they should have. And one of the things that we've done with JubiRev, Jubi Max is that JubiRev, Jubi Max wanted to make sure they had the I's dotted, they had the T's crossed. So it took a little bit longer, yes, for the compensation PDF to go into the back office. Why? Because there was a lot of going forth and back and back and forth and back and forth and forth and back with the attorneys. It's taken a little bit, in terms of some of the things in the system. They want to make sure products were ready to ship before certain parts of the company went live. They wanted to make sure that if we got a customer, that customer wasn't going to be waiting for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks to get product in hand. And like any company that's launching out of the gate, you're going to have a couple of stumbles. The Jubi account cards, many of you have gotten your cards. Some of you still have not gotten your cards. I don't know the reason why you haven't gotten the cards. And if you haven't, then send a support ticket. I know that there's been just a small handful that they've been working on for whatever reason. I don't know why that's happened. But even with all of that, ladies, so we had a lot of leaders that held back. Some leaders who said, well, I've got teams here, but I'm not really telling them to make purchases just yet. I need to see. I'm from Missouri. You've got to show me. I understand that. Well, some of those folks who've held back were on with me on Skype today, and they were telling me I'm not holding back anymore. Okay, so let me tell you what the company is doing, and I had no idea this was going to happen. Going from retroactive back from March the 28th through April the 22nd, okay, you're going to be rewarded a 10% match when you purchase JubiBucks anytime from March 28th through April 22nd. So some of you have already made some purchases. Some of you took some, maybe all of your commissions that you just earned, and you made JubiBuck purchases. What is that going to mean for you? It's going to mean that any purchases made between March 28th through April the 22nd, you, just like in the Founders promotion, there was a 15% match. Now there's going to be a 10% match. Now, let me tell you why I believe this is huge. Because I believe that there's been a lot of folks in JubiRev still on the fence. And again, I understand it because of some of the turmoil that we had seen in the industry. And they want to believe, they want this to be it. They're tired of, I don't know, many of you have multiple income opportunities, but you're looking for that one that will stand heads and tails above the rest, where the cream will rise to the top, and though you may have 5, 6, 7, 39 different income streams out there on the internet, you want that one that you can plant your flag and say, okay, this is it. This is my numero uno. Babe, did you hear how that Spanish, how that Espanol just oozed? Did you hear that? You hear that? Sí. Let me see. Muy bien. You like that? You like that? All right. Okay. So now you have the chance, the opportunity now to say, now it's time to go for it. Now it's time to go for it. Now let me tell you what I would do with this, okay? You always hear me say, purchase as many JubiBucks or inventory, JubiBucks or inventory, purchase as many JubiBucks as your resources allow. Just don't hurt your family. And what we mean by that is I don't want you going and getting into debt. Don't want you leveraging and charging your credit cards all to the hilt and what have you. But now here's one of the things I want you to consider between March 28th and April 22nd in particular, okay? All right, because this is a 10% increase, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, some of you are already diamond directors. Some of you have hit 1 star, 1 carat. I don't know if it's going to be 1 star or 1 carat. I would love 1 carat. But some of you have already hit 1 star. Some of you are pressing towards 1 star. We've got some folks pressing towards 2 stars, so on and so forth, and then ultimately presidential. Here's what I would be doing, okay? Number one is I would be leveraging my commissions. Ladies and gentlemen, yours truly, I won't say what we made, but it was a nice, healthy figure in our commissions. And guess what we did? We took those commissions, and 100% of those commissions we use to purchase more JubiBucks. Now, if you made some good commissions, and you need to take some of those commissions and put in your pocket to do some things for your family, by all means, you do that. You take care of your family. But as much as you can, as much of your commissions as you can leverage from this commission run and the ongoing commission runs, I would use those commissions to make further purchases. Why? Because I know that any of those purchases I make between now and April the 22nd are not only going to yield more Jubi points once I give those away, but I'm going to get a 10% increase in my Jubi points based on me making the purchase, one, and then giving those JubiBucks or samples away, number two, okay? So that's what I would do. I'd leverage my commissions. The other thing that I would do, particularly for those of you that have other online income streams, and you're getting paid or you can request commissions maybe from other systems. Maybe you are in some other companies that have a revenue sharing model, okay, and you're getting paid every day. And you know, maybe you like the model, maybe you're disappointed in the model, maybe the model is doing well, maybe it's not. Well, one of the things you might want to consider is taking profits from other income streams. And maybe it's not, it may have nothing to do with the revenue sharing model. It might be some other things that you're involved in out there. Taking some profits from some of those other income streams and using that to make additional purchases. Why? Because we've got this window of time that now we can see more clearly what Jubi is going to be. Now we can see, even despite some silliness that we talked about on last Tuesday. I told you, we talked about some silliness last Tuesday. And if you weren't here on last Tuesday and you haven't heard or seen of anything about silly, don't worry about what I'm talking about. But some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And what did we tell you last week? We told you that we were a movement. We told you that a movement requires resistance, and we would push beyond any resistance. And the pushing effect has allowed some of our folks to generate 14,000, 8,000, 12,000 in commissions. So now, what I would have you to consider is if you have other income streams, whether they are business-related income streams on the internet, particularly if you're getting paid to Payza or you're getting paid through STP, that's a very simple one. If you request commissions from some of those other systems to your Payza STP, then it becomes very easy to take profits from another system and use those profits to make purchases where you know that you're getting a 10% increase through this period. Okay, if you have you're working a regular job, and yes, you've made a purchase, whether it was a $100 purchase, a $1,000 purchase, $10,000 of purchases. Remember, in our system, there is no cap to the number of Jubi bucks you can ultimately purchase. The thing is, you can't load $50,000. Okay, that's not going to work. What you can do though is you can load let's say you can load maximum 10,000 funds right now. Eventually, that'll probably go down to 2,500. You can load that, give those Jubi bucks away, give those samples away. We'll be talking about the third-party service that I will be recommending. Give those away. As you've given away 70% of your inventory, then you can make additional purchases. So what I would be doing is I would be looking to load new funds as my resources allow and as it does not hurt my family. So loading additional funds as your resources allow. Now, again, I believe that these are huge because many of you are going to start seeing commissions on a daily basis because your teams may be here on this webinar and they're doing what I'm saying I've already done. I'm leading by example, okay? And as they do that, then that means that you get more commissions. And if you take some or all of those commissions and purchase more Jubi bucks, when you give away those Jubi bucks, you get their 10% matches. Let's really maximize this between now and April 22nd. Let's really maximize this. Many of you have folks that you've personally enrolled that have not yet upgraded. Okay? Hey, write down some of these numbers here. Write down some of these numbers. I'm going to post this here for just a moment. Okay? Now, remember in your back office under my Jubi team, or on the Jubi team, you can see all that you personally enrolled. If it shows that they are an associate, that means they did not upgrade. They did not purchase a subscription. They did not purchase any Jubi bucks. Okay? Well, there was something that got them to enroll. There was something maybe in the early days of the excitement when we came out with the pre-registration, and we don't know why they didn't enroll. Maybe because people's attention span on the internet is very limited, and I understand that you know, maybe you enroll them the first day, and that's been now a couple of months ago, and maybe they haven't paid attention to what's going on, or maybe they got caught up in some of that silliness that was out there on the internet. All right, so this would be a great time to go back to them and say, hey, commissions are live. Revenue sharing is about to start. By the way, some of our teammates, one of my teammates made $1,000. Now, how can you say one of my teammates made $1,000 if that person isn't in your enrollment tree? Because you override the entire company. As of next week, when daily revenue sharing starts, you're going to be overriding the entire company. Whether you got 35 points or 350,000 points, you're going to be overriding the entire company. So guess what? Everyone in the company, Susanna in France, who kicked absolute Catootie, that's the backside, by the way. She kicked Catootie, all right? She had a phenomenal commission run because she was out there building her business even when it was harder, even when there was the silliness on the internet. She was out there pushing and prodding and prodding and pushing. Guess what? You may have nothing to do with her genealogical line. You may not be in her organization. You may not have anything to do with the person that enrolled her or the person that enrolled them or the person that enrolled them, so on and so forth. But as of next week, as of Monday, April the 28th, assuming no cataclysmic technological stuff, you're going to override Susanna and her entire team, okay? So guess what? This person who earned $1,000, part of your team. This person who earned $9,000, part of your team. One of the things I want you to get good at, until you have your own strong testimony, leverage the testimonies of others. Notice I haven't told you what I made. I'm not going to tell you what I made because you expect me to make that. I'm telling you what my teammates made. One of my teammates, 12,700. Another one of my teammates, 8,800. I didn't say I personally enrolled them. One of my teammates, 14,500. Hey, get in here now because we've got a special promotion from now until April the 22nd. When you come inside, you load funds, you make a purchase, you're going to get a 10% Jubi point match. Okay? All right. So that's going to be one part of the promotion from March 28th to April 22nd. Now, I don't think this one, let's go down to number 3. I don't think that most of us caught this one on last night because it was new to me. I was kind of in shock that the company was going to do this. There's going to be a special retroactive bonus for our founders. Those of you that participated in the founders promotion, which is probably the majority of you that's on tonight's webinar, the programmers over the next couple of days will be calculating second and third generation bonus Jubi points and applying them to your Jubi point balance. I don't think we were as clear on that last night as I just don't think that came across as clearly. So let's make sure we get this because this was huge. Let's say, for instance, that you are a diamond director. When you got started, you did a $200 a month subscription, okay? The initial founder's bonus was only based on, in terms of the matches you got when you enrolled John or you enrolled Joe Average. Joe Average made a purchase. Let's say he made a $1,000 purchase of Jubi Bucks. You got a 10% commission because you're a diamond, and you got a 10% matching Jubi point bonus. All right, we covered that a few moments ago when I think I said you enrolled me. And let's give you this was the when we talked about this, okay? Right here. When I said you enrolled me, I made a 1,000 Jubi buck purchase. I got a 10%. You got a 10% commission because you were diamond in my example, but you also got a 10% Jubi point match. Okay. Now, in the founders promotion, that was only for those that you personally enrolled. So the president says to reward you for having faith in us and having faith in us. He didn't say this, but I've got to think that part of this comes from this. Having faith in us even when there were some haters out there that wanted to plant seeds of doubt because this is a movement and a movement requires resistance. I had someone on Skype last week because he had heard some of the silliness that was out there in the marketplace. That person said to me, hey, this is before our webinar last Tuesday, he said, I think I'm going to sit this one out and let me just see what happens over the next few months. I'd rather be late to the dance than too early. And I said to that person, listen, man, you do what you feel is best for you and your family. No need to twist his arm. I know what this company is going to do. I know this is a movement. This is why we're in Santiago, Chile right now, and we're still doing a webinar. This is why we were in the Dominican last week and we were still doing a webinar, because we know what this is going to wind up being. And I told many of you that have followed us for a while that we were going to help a company in the revenue sharing space pass the regulatory test. We knew somebody was going to do it, and that we were going to be there when that happened. And for those of us that dared to believe and to plant our flag, we were going to make a ton of money and help a lot of folks. Okay, so that's our commitment to our following. That's our commitment to helping this company be the standard bearer. So the guy says to me, I'm going to sit this one out, because he had heard some of the silliness, some of the craziness that was out there, some outright lies that were out there. Then we did our webinar last week. He Skyped me back. He said, man, I know why. You just reminded me of why I'm part of the team, part of the following, because the vision is so much bigger than any one company. And so what happened is, what happened was, there were some folks that kind of put some brakes on. I understand. Not going to berate anybody who did that. You know what the president said? The president said, you know what? That's what we're going to do, because you believed in us. You believed in us during that founders period, through some of that silliness. He said, I'm going to reward you. I'm going to reward you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. He's told the programmers to go back, and not only are you getting the match that you would have gotten on the founders, he says, I'm going to go back and give you a match based on your generations. What does that mean? Previously, you got a match when you personally enrolled me. I made a purchase during the founders period. Okay? Previously, you got a match when you enrolled me. I made a purchase through the founders period. But what happens if I then enrolled Susanna and Ryan and Aaron and Shara? Of course, I didn't enroll them. They have other enrollers, but I'm just using them as examples. They're huge leaders. What happens if I enroll them? They would be on your second generation. They made purchases. You know what the president said? The president said, we're going to go back and we're going to give you a 5% matching bonus on that. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that here's this person here that personally enrolled one person, but the person they enrolled went to work? The person that they enrolled, I happen to know the person they enrolled, made a fairly decent size purchase themselves, and so this person got a 10% match. But then the person that they enrolled has enrolled well more than 50 enrollees themselves. That would be 50 people on the second generation. Now, perhaps not all 50 people made a purchase, but a good amount of them did, because I know who that person happens to be. And so now that means that this person who enrolled one, and their one went and enrolled more than 50, however many of those 50 that actually made a purchase, this person is going to retroactively get a 5% Jubi point bonus. So if the combination of the folks on that second generation, if the combination effect, if they collectively, somebody made a $5,000 purchase, somebody made a $200 purchase, somebody made a $25 purchase, somebody made a $10,000 purchase. If the combination was 100,000, just for nice round math, they're going to get another 5,000 Jubi points added. I don't know if we really that last night. Whatever that figure happens to be. It could be 100,000, could be 10,000, could be whatever the figure happens to be. And all the way down to the third generation as well. So over the next few days, those that have been building your referral networks, if you go in your back office and you say, well, hey, where did those Jubi points come from? Well, now you know. Now you know. Okay? Now let's go to number 2 in this section, because this now goes back to the first wave bonus. The first wave bonus from March 28th through April 22nd. From March 28th through April 22nd, we already know that if you make a purchase through March 28th and April 22nd, and hopefully you will consider leveraging all or at least some of your commissions that you make to make purchases. Hopefully, if you've got additional income, internet income, that's coming from other sources. Maybe you're part of other revenue sharing opportunities. Maybe you're part of some other income opportunities out there, and you see profits from that. If you're another part of another revenue sharing model, you're probably seeing profits on a daily basis, or you're seeing at least earnings on a daily basis. Your company may allow you to request a certain amount of commissions. If I were you, I would consider, everybody's situation is different, I would consider, hey, maybe taking some profits, using those profits to make purchases at Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, to take advantage of the 10% bonus. By the way, what does that do? That generates more commissions for the field. The more commissions that generates for the field, the better for Jubi Rev, Jubi Max. That's also going to go into the daily rewards. Okay, so that's going to strengthen the daily rewards as well. Okay, now the same thing I just mentioned as the retroactive bonus is also going to happen during this special first wave, meaning that you're going to get a bonus match through your three generations. So, for instance, if you're Diamond, you refer Ryan. Ryan, between March 28th and April 22nd, Ryan's building a huge organization. Ryan's making a lot in commissions. Ryan may have $10,000 in purchases between now and April 22nd. That might just be happening from his daily rewards. That might be happening from him getting commissions. He's purchasing more Jubi bucks. He's purchasing more Jubi bucks. Well, all of a sudden, what's going to happen is not only would you get commissions, but then you would get matching Jubi points. So if you're on a 10% commission rate, you would get a 10% bonus. I want to make sure we say this again. All right? I want you to see this. So here I was talking with someone today, and I think they told me, I'm rounding up or down, so I'm going to give you a nice round figure somewhere close to this. They generated about $5,000 in commissions. In their e-cash, they had about $5,000. All right, I think it was a little less than that. It was 4,000 some change, but close enough to $5,000. And I asked them, I said, what's your strategy right now? Of that 5,000, how much of that are you planning on putting in your pocket versus what have you? They said, well, no, I've already used that 5,000 to purchase 5,000 more Jubi bucks. Really? Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means that for their enroller got another 10% commission, or another 500 bucks. Additionally, their enroller picks up another 500 Jubi points. Why? Because that's the match. That is the promotion between now and April 22nd. Well, I happen to know this person who's got roughly 5,000 in commissions. They're building a fairly strong referral network. I know they're on the webinar. I know they've got teammates of theirs on the webinar. And so some of their teammates will probably go back and say, oh, I've got some commissions. Let me take some or all of those commissions and buy more Jubi bucks. And what will that mean for the person who's already made 5,000 in commissions? They're going to make more in commissions. Now, if they take those commissions, some or all of it, and they purchase more themselves, and their enroller is going to, you see how that all feeds up the chain? This is huge. I believe that we will have multiple people between now and April 22nd that will be well over 100,000 points. I believe we will have some folks in the 2 to 250,000 point range if we will get this, and we will lead by example. Again, if you need commissions, by all means, request commissions. I think there was a statement that said commissions or withdrawing of commissions would still be a couple days away as they go through and do audits and things like that. That's to be expected with the first commission run. But once the commission options are available, if you need to get commissions, by all means, know what we always teach. Your faith, your family, your following, then the company. You take commissions if you need to. But if we get our teams understanding the importance of now through April the 22nd to really build, and see, here's the thing. We've already come through the hard part. We've already come through the tough part. If you are here now, I salute you because you've come through the toughest part. Those of you who've been with us when we were doing webinars and there was no site and we just called it Plan B, you've come through the toughest part. You came through the part where there was no website. You came through the part where there then was a website. You came through the part where for 2 or 3 hours on the first day, the servers were so long jammed. You came through the point where there was some silliness and some craziness online, and they'll continue to be. Don't worry about that. Don't be distracted by that stuff. And so now we're at a point where people can see commissions in the back office. Now we know. We know. I didn't even know the exact date. I knew the range, but I didn't know the exact date when daily revenue was going to start. Now we know. My gosh, we know. We know. I'm going to be back in the States by the time daily revenue starts. We're going to have a webinar party. You know that, right? Y'all know that, right? And I've been having some webinar withdrawals. So y'all know next week we're going at it hard. We're gonna be doing the corporate webinars. We'll have some other team webinars, either training or presentation. We're going at it hard to get you positioned to be at 5,000 points if you're at 50 of them now, to be at 10,000 points if you're at 100 or 1,000 points now, to get to 50,000 points, to get to 100,000 points, to get to 250,000, 500,000, 1 million points. Ladies and gentlemen, let me stretch your vision. Let me stretch your vision. Okay, so understand how big this is. 10, 5, and 1 if you're a diamond. This is one of the reasons I didn't know this promotion was going to come up. One of the reasons I was wanting as many of you that had the resources to go diamond. Now, let me tell you this. If you started off at Jade or you started off at Ruby, because that's just where you were, you now have seen enough commissions to upgrade to Emerald and preferably even Diamond. I would do so. If I started off at less than Emerald or Diamond and I've seen enough commissions to upgrade, I would upgrade. Why? Particularly if you already have a team. Particularly because if you have a team, doing that upgrading is going to increase your percentages of commissions. Doing that upgrade is going to allow your new Jubi points to earn for a longer period of time. Remember, Jade, your Jubi points earn for 80 days. No, 85 days, excuse me. No, I was right. 80 days at Jade, 85 at Ruby, 95 at Emerald, 200 at Diamond. 80, 85, 95 at Emerald, 200 at Diamond. So, ladies and gentlemen, this first wave bonus is huge. Absolutely huge. Let's take advantage of it. Okay. Now, let me give you some more strategies. So let's just make sure, I know I've covered a lot so far. Let's just make sure what I'm strongly suggesting is strategy. What I'm strongly suggesting is strategy, number one, is purchase as much as your resources allow. What would I look at? I would look at commissions that I earn. So I would look at commissions I earn from the system, okay? I would look at other income sources. Maybe you are part of other income sources, revenue sharing or not. Maybe they pay daily or weekly or what have you. You can request commissions, and maybe you haven't been requesting commissions, or you've only been requesting a small amount or a small percentage of the commissions that you could actually ask for. So maybe you, for this time frame, maybe you max out the amount of commissions that you can take from those systems and then use those commissions to make purchases where you take advantage of the 10%, and now you should have a much better sense that this company is not going anywhere, despite some silliness that's out there. The company's not going anywhere. The company is shipping product. The company is for real. The company has done some things technologically in its pre-registration and pre-launch stage that we didn't even see companies that were generating $10 million a day that were the kingpins of revenue sharing that we didn't even see them do. And so, my gosh, my confidence level is so raised. I want to purchase as much as my resources allow, and from maybe even traditional income sources. So maybe you get your paycheck and you're still able to pay your bills. Make sure you pay your bills, all right? Don't go late on anything. But you've got an extra 25 bucks, an extra 100 bucks, or what have you. Between now and April 22nd, we want to use as many resources as we can that's not going to hurt our family to be able to purchase more and get the 10%. Then what we want to be able to do is we want to charge our teammates to do the same. They get their extra 10%. And listen, let me tell you, if you are telling me I don't have a large team, I don't have a team at all, then purchasing as much as your resources allow becomes even more important for you, because you get that additional 10%. And that additional 10% in terms of your Jubi points becomes huge, becomes absolutely huge. So charge our teammates to do the same. As we charge our teammates to do the same, that will allow more commissions to flow. As more commissions flow, and then people take a portion or all of those commissions to make more purchases, then what that does is that creates more commissions and more commissions and more commissions, and it also generates more revenue, more revenue, more revenue for the daily rewards. Now, here's what I am doing. I would love for you to follow this to the T if you can, or at least come as close to it as you can. And we've referred to this before. We've referred to this as momentum. Now, we'll refer to it as momentum, and you put your number in. Is it momentum 80? Momentum 85? Momentum 95? Momentum 105? Meaning based on your rank, obviously, Jade, your points are going to earn for 80 days. If you are Ruby, your points are going to earn for 85 days. Remember, a $15 a month subscription is enough volume to get you to Jade. So let me put that in parentheses. You can sell your way there. You don't have to buy a subscription, but the path of least resistance is for you to have a subscription. $50 a month for Ruby, Emerald, 95 days, $100 a month, and Diamond, 105 days, $200 a month. I would say to anyone, if you have already generated commissions of 200 or more and you are not yet Diamond, it would be well worth your consideration to take that profit, is what that is, and use that profit to upgrade. Because if you've generated $200 in commissions, then that means that you had someone or someone's in your referral network that made some purchases that helped you to generate those commissions. You would probably be leaving money on the table not being Diamond. Okay? If you were Jade, and let's say you made over $50 in commissions, I would take that and I would upgrade or what have you. Okay, all right, so now here's what I'm doing. I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. Right? What I'm doing is I am leveraging 100%. You don't have to do this, but this is what I'm doing. I'm leveraging 100% of my commissions and overrides. Now, will everybody be able to follow this? No. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and then you do what you must do to take care of your family. I'm leveraging 100% of my commissions and overrides, not only through April 22nd, but through my first 105 days. Now, I know not everybody will be able to do that. I know not everybody will be able to do that. You do what you must to take care of your family, okay? But I'm on a crusade. I'm on a quest. I don't want to say crusade. I'm on a quest here to grow my Jubi points as fast as I possibly can, because when you understand, many of you do, the revenue sharing model, the more points you have, the more your daily revenue. And the whole idea of this network marketing industry from the time I was introduced way back in 1994 was to build residual income. That's the whole idea. Well, I know if I build my points, and I'm very aggressive early on in building my points, I know if I build my points, even if my personal recruiting activity falls off the map for whatever reason, I don't anticipate that happening, but should that happen, even if there's silliness on the internet that causes some people to pause, well, the more points I have, the more my daily rewards are going to be. And so since, remember, when we start daily revenue, remember, no points will retire for at least 80 days. And for some of you, 85 days, some of you, 95 days, some of you, 105 days. So let's make sure you understand this. Let's say you've got 10,000 Jubi points once daily revenue starts. All right, and I have no idea what the daily revenue is going to be. I expect it to be a strong daily revenue amount simply because of our model, because of revenues that's already starting to come into the company, and then obviously with customers there will be even more revenues. I'm going to use the number I always use for example purposes. This is no way suggesting this will be an average or it'll be higher or lower. I don't know. But let's say that each point that first night earns 0.0125 per point. Notice we'll never say percentages. We're not going to say passive. We're not going to say compounding. And if you ever see a blog post of a person who has so little courage that he won't even put his name on his own blog, he won't even put his contact information on his own blog, but he wants to feature me, and hopefully next time you feature me, if you happen to be on this webinar, Mr. Non-Courageous Blogger, you spell my name right. That's all I ask. Spell my name right, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what the daily reward is going to be. What we'll be looking at is over time, we'll probably get a sense of, you know, what an average day will look like, but we're never going to use words like passive. We're never going to use words like compounding. We're never going to use percentages because those words are problematic, no matter what an idiotic blogger says that I said when I know I didn't say it and you know I didn't say it. By the way, I'm only saying that in case that blogger happens to be here because I would love that particular blogger to connect with me since I'm not very hard to get in touch with. If you ever want to talk about me, how about you talk to the source as I gave you the opportunity to do, but then you erase my blog, my post to your blog. So I guess you just told me who you are. And remember, my father-in-law always said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay, in any event. So that's my little dig at my blogger friend. All right, look, if you made 125 in your daily reward, and remember, when you have customers, you're going to be able to give customers up to $750 worth of product value. What this means is that if you gave a customer our full youth line, our skincare line, I don't remember the full amount, but if you take the nighttime and the daytime and what have you, I think that comes up to about $200 worth of product. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about giving away samples, we're not talking about giving away some little 2 or 3 day sample. You're giving them the full product. Your Jubi bucks are purchasing the full product, the full 30-day supply. The customer, they're covering the shipping on that. Okay, so we're going to be able to give $750 worth of product value to every customer that you have. 400 of that can be actual Jubi bucks. Okay. So let's say that you've got a customer come next Monday night. You've got 10,000 Jubi points. You earn earned 125 Jubi, what you'll be able to do is
You're
if you
going
have
in.
a customer that you haven't given the max amount of, sorry,
You're going in and out a
Queen,
little
what was
bit.
that?
You're going in and out a little bit.
Okay,
I'm not sure if it's because you're moving or getting excited or, but
okay, all right, I'll bring it down a tad. I'll treat this like I'm on a corporate webinar and dial it down a little bit.
just a little bit.
Queen, you do know that next week I'm going to be back in the U.S.
I know, and then you'll have strong internet, and you can jump up and down if you want to, Lamont.
And you know I haven't been able to do that the last couple of weeks. So you know next week it's going to be a party.
Well,
We're going.
yes.
Hey, Jeff,
I guess, I guess you're telling me I need
Jayla,
to be
Sheila,
dressed.
I promise you next week I will sing for our audience. I promise you. Jayla,
Oh,
that's going to be
no.
just for you. Thank you, Jayla.
Say help us.
Is that better?
That's much better. It's
Okay, all
sounding
right.
better. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I'm dialing it down,
There you
and then
go.
we'll have a crazy party. We'll have a Dominican Republic party next week because my gosh, those folks know how to party. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
All
Okay,
right.
so Monday night, let's say you earned 125 Jubi bucks, and you have a customer that you have not given them the maximum amount of product value or Jubi bucks to. Maybe you've given them a couple hundred Jubi bucks. What you'll be able to do when you log into your system next Tuesday, you saw that you have 125 Jubi bucks that you earned that night. You'll be able to go to your customer tab, find the customer that you want to give more Jubi bucks to, and you'll be able to give them the 125 Jubi bucks in this example. So what will that mean? That will mean you'll get 10,000. You'll have 10,125 Jubi points. And actually, the reality is that chances are those 125 Jubi bucks are going to score you some additional points, either because you were founder or because of the first wave bonus, that extra 10% that we were talking about. I won't even factor that in. So then let's say Tuesday night when daily revenue starts, I'm sorry, when daily revenue happens at second night on Tuesday night, instead of you earning on 10,000 points, you'd be earning on 10,125 points, as an example. Now let me share with you what we've seen. So in a previous venture, so this was not JubiRev, JubiMax, because we haven't started revenue sharing. This was the company that was the biggest out there in terms of revenue sharing, that the owner, a great guy, but didn't fight, so on and so forth, some regulatory headwinds. We saw a buddy of mine, a gentleman by the name of Armando. He started his first night with 9,400 points. He took my strategy of momentum, and that company you earn for 90 days as opposed to 105, okay? And by the time he got to his 90th day, now what he would do is he would allow his daily revenue to cover his commissions. I'm sorry, not commissions, his monthly subscription. So when he was coming up on a monthly subscription, because he was generating daily revenue, he would allow that revenue to cover the monthly subscription. Then he would allow all other revenue to purchase more inventory, give it away, and he did that for that 90-day period because he didn't have any points retiring for the first 90 days. All right? By the time he got to his 90th day, he had 36,000 points, not 9,400. Now, if you do the same numbers, if you just said, okay, at 9,400 points, let's assume he made 0.0125 rewards per point, excuse me. Then on maybe his first day out of the gate with these numbers for illustrative purposes only, he earned $117.15 as a reward, as an example, okay? By the time he gets to day 90, he's at 36,000 points. Now we know what would happen is basically around day 91 in this example, he's going to have 9,400 points retire. Why? Because his first battery of points, 9,400, they have lived their 90 days. The company did not take away 9,400 points from him. He did not lose 9,400 points. The company did what the company said they would do. They said, if you will place an ad a day and a couple of other things, we'll pay you on a daily basis. JubiRev is saying, excuse me, we're going to be placing an ad a day. We're going to be giving away samples. If you will do that, we're going to reward you from anywhere from 80 days to 85 days to 95 days to 105 days. Okay? So in this example, he had roughly 27,000 points at the end of 90 days. Now, if you, again, I'm using some hypothetical numbers here, all right, and these are the numbers I normally use on our Everyday Can Be Payday webinars. So at 27,000 points, if we assume the same type of daily rewards, he was at about $337. About $337 a day. Now, even when you get to this point, do you want, and our system won't allow you to do this, but would you want to take the full $337 and put in your pocket? The answer would be no. And the reason being is we know that in time that you're going to have points that will eventually retire daily. What do we mean by this? So on April the 8th, let's say we have our first revenue run, okay? And so whatever points you have on April 8th, they earn whatever it is they earn. Well, those points are going to live from anywhere from 80 days based on your rank to 85 to 95 to 105 days. All right, but 105 days from the 8th, you're going to have points retire. Well, what about the points that you earn on the 9th? Let's say that you earn rewards from the 8th, Jubi Bucks. You gave Jubi Bucks away so that by the time they run the revenue on the 9th, you've got more Jubi points. So you scored maybe 10 Jubi points for the day, maybe 100 Jubi points for the day, maybe more. Well, those 10 Jubi points that you scored that day, those 100 Jubi points you scored that day, they are going to have their 80-day life cycle or 85-day life cycle or 95-day life cycle or 105-day life cycle. So ultimately, you're going to get to the point where you're going to have some points retiring every day. Will we have any points retiring the first 80 days if you're Jade? The first 85 days if you are Ruby? The first 95 days if you're Emerald? The first 105 days if you are Diamond? No. No, you're not going to have any points retired. So this is why I call this momentum. So this is what I'm doing. All right, and you follow this as closely as you possibly can. I know not all of you will be able to follow this exactly, all right, but follow this as closely as you can and teach this to your teams and watch your points grow. So what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, is the commissions that I earned last night, and it was a nice healthy amount. Immediately when I saw those commissions, I went and I purchased more Jubi Bucks with 100% of the commissions. If you need to take some money, you take some money. Okay? I've earned a few $100s today in commissions. Guess what? I purchased more Jubi Bucks. I'll earn a few $100s tomorrow in commissions. I'll purchase more Jubi Bucks. Purchase more Jubi Bucks. I'm going to take advantage of that 10% addition. I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that I've got no points retiring, and I want to build and build and build and build and build and have a snowball effect of my Jubi points, so that 105 days from now, we're going to have an extremely, extremely healthy Jubi point balance. And then what we taught, and I'll start to round third on this. There's a couple things that I do want to show you. I don't know if I have a chance to. Then what we taught was, once you're ready for commissions, we taught a 20-80 strategy. And what this strategy said was, take 20% of your commissions and or your daily revenue. Commissions, when I say commissions, I'm talking about what you're earning as an override because you've built a referral network or you've got people in your unilevel through placements, so on and so forth. Okay? And then revenue, what I'm talking about there, excuse me, is once the daily revenue starts, based on however many points you have and what the reward per point was for that particular night, you earn so much in revenue. Okay, so ultimately we want to get you to the point where 20% of your commissions or revenue goes into your pocket, and 80% goes to continue to build your point totals. Now, remember that the day's going to come that we're going to have points retiring. So with this 80%, what we want to do is we want to replace retiring points. So we want to do that as much as we can up front. If I know if I have 10,000 points on April the 8th, if I know I have 10,000 points, I know that 105 days from then, based on my rank, those 10,000 points are going to retire. So I want to take my revenue, my commissions during this non-retirement phase as much as I can. In my case, I'm going to take it all and buy more inventory, give it away, so that by the time I'm 105 days in, I've got a lot more than 10,000 points. So when those 10,000 points retire, then I'm still way, 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 way ahead of the game. Okay, so we've seen that this 20-80 ratio tends to be the sweet spot in the revenue sharing space. You replace retiring points, you grow your point totals, and you put a good amount of income into your pocket. That's where I plan to be. And as a matter of fact, the chances are by the time we get to 105 days, I may not even do the full 20%. We'll look at that 105 days from now. But this is what I want you to be focused on as we're just getting ready to start the daily revenue. I want us to be extremely aggressive between now and April the 22nd. There are some of our teammates right now that, because they were very aggressive in the pre-registration and pre-launch stage, generating these types of commissions, okay, already having a good amount of Jubi points, and then taking some of these commissions and then buying more, what have you. Some of these folks have set themselves up that in the next 3 to 4 months, 105 days or so, that some of these folks are going to be well over 100,000, maybe even $250,000, maybe even more in Jubi points. Okay, I believe that we will have folks 105 days from now that will be at 500,000 or more mark in terms of points. I believe we'll have some folks between now and the 22nd that will be well over 6 figures in their points. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we want to build those points is that even if recruiting slows down a little bit, maybe your team isn't growing as fast, and that's not what we've seen. What we've seen with this model, is that because people get paid every day, it starts to grow even without you. You can't even stop it. It starts to grow even without you. You can't even stop it. Okay. All right. So I do want to show you something real quickly, and I know there's a bunch of questions that I probably won't get a chance to get to. I do want to show you something real quickly that I think may have been a source of confusion last night, and I want to make sure that we do our best to unconfuse. Bear with me. I'm going to log into our training account. Bear with me. Oh, I do need to put here, I am still waiting to hear the final from our third-party vendor. I know they've been getting everything ready for us that are going to be looking for customer registrations. And I know a lot of you have already started with your warm market, which I strongly encourage you to do, to use your warm market to have them register as customers and give them away and or JubiBucks or both. For those of you that are going to all need some assistance flyguymarketing.com. You can go and register for free, and just as soon as they're ready for customers, which could be any day now, you can go to them so that you can have plenty of customers coming in to have them register, give away the Jubi Bucks, give away the samples, and generate Jubi points. Okay, if you have quite a few Jubi Bucks and Monday comes and you've not converted all of those Jubi Bucks into Jubi points, do not sweat that. And the reason being is your points, these timer only starts when you have the points. Now, obviously, those of you who have points now, the timer, your 80 days, 85 days, 95 days, 105 days, hasn't started and will not start until April the 8th. Okay? But let's say, for instance, if you've got 10,000 Jubi Bucks, and by Monday you convert 5,000 to Jubi points. So now you've got 5,000 total, 5,000 Jubi points in your Jubi point total. Well, don't sweat these 5,000 Jubi Bucks, because once you start to give those away, you know, if you gave them away on April the 9th or April the 11th or what have you, that's when the timer would start for those bucks that have now been converted to points. I hope you understand that, okay? So, flyguymarketing.com. Flyguymarketing.com is the source that I'll be recommending for your customer purchase needs, okay? And despite what Idiot Blogger says, this is not my promoting anything that's passive. What Flyguy Marketing will do is they will be sending traffic to your JubiRev, your Jubi Max giveaway sites. These will not be customers that just signed up for something else online and then they will transfer it over to you. That's how most of these customer acquisition services for the revenue sharing industry have worked, okay? Where your customer never even saw your site. That will not be the case here. That will not be the case here. By the way, I should apologize. I called that blogger an idiot, and my mom told me that a soft answer turns away wrath, so I shouldn't have called this person an idiot. I should just love on them. So I love you, idiot.
All right, making me chuckle here too much. It is 8:22. You have 8 minutes.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So flyguymarketing.com. Okay. Give me just a moment. Now I want to just show you something here. Our training positions here.
All right. You're getting excited.
So these
again.
are not. These are numbers, but these aren't. Okay.
This is getting excited again. Slow down.
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So now, let's say you come into your back office. You want to see the question that came last night that we get to. What's the difference between your Max Bucks and your Jubi Bucks? Your Max Bucks are what you receive from your monthly subscription. If you have a $15 a month subscription, you get 15 Max Bucks. You cannot give those away to generate Jubi points. That's designed for you to use those to purchase products within our system. If you have $50
Are you moving away from your computer?
Subscription, you get 50.
You're breaking up too much.
Go shopping and purchase whatever it is you want to purchase. You use your Max Bucks. Am I okay now? You use your Max Bucks.
You're better. Mm-hmm.
I'm still breaking up?
No, you're better.
Okay. You use your Max Bucks to go and be a product of the product, to purchase whatever products you want. Your Jubi Bucks, you typically want to give those Jubi Bucks away to customers, and that's going to help you generate Jubi points. Okay? All right, so now, a couple things. If you simply click on eCash, this is going to automatically to the account. You may have to put in your PIN code. By the way, please make sure, ladies, that you have good, strong password. We've seen a situation where there might have been a possible someone maybe didn't have a good passcode and what have you. So make sure that you got a good, strong passcode. Don't use passcodes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something that's very obvious. All right. So in any event, so when you click here, you can see here that there's 1320 in eCash. Well, if I wanted to buy more Jubi bucks, I would simply click buy more Jubi bucks. And remember, any Jubi bucks that you purchase between now and the 22nd, is going to give you that additional 10% bump. I want to leave some eCash here for future training. I'm just going to say that we did, and you can do.
All right, you're breaking up now. You're breaking up now.
I just selected.
There we go.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I just selected, and this became a dark purple. And I click continue. Feel free to read this information here.
I think it's when you
then we'll come to this page that tells me how many when I'm doing things on the computer. Is that what's happening?
Well, you start breaking up when you're trying to do different screens.
I got you. I understand. I got you. Okay. All right. So I'll just do this real quickly, and I won't talk. I want you to pay attention to where it says eCash and however many Jubi bucks that I have here after I put in my security PIN. And so what you should see now, hopefully I'm not breaking up, what you should see is it debited my eCash by 97, credited my Jubi bucks by 97, okay? The other thing I want to show you very quickly, we're going to go to My Account, My Financials. My Account, My Financials. My Account, My Financials. This is also where you were with eCash, under the eCash section. But under commissions, what I want you to see, I want you to come back and look under commissions. You'll see your rank. You'll see your current personal volume. You'll see what you're paid as in terms of rank. And you'll see your group qualifying volume. What is group qualifying volume? Basically, it's comprised of a couple major things. It's comprised of all of the monthly subscriptions that are in your 8-level unilevel, and comprised of any customer purchases, where a customer comes and makes a retail purchase. Okay, that's what makes up your group qualifying volume. The purchase and sale of Jubi bucks does not go into the group qualifying volume definition. This is basically your monthly subscriptions in your network and the impact of customers having made purchases based on the business volume associated. Okay, real quickly, I know we got to go. Under Power Generational Bonuses, all right, if you have a question about what these are, you just click on the question mark and it'll tell you. But if you click here, this is where you're getting commissions from having built a network. What I want you to pay attention to, and this is impressive because the reporting is absolutely phenomenal, is going to show anything that you've earned today. Again, I'm in a testing account or training account. It's going to show what you've earned for this week. And if you just scroll on whatever that amount is, it's going to give you a clear accounting of where all the commissions came from. So it's going to give an accounting of where the commissions came from, and you can do date searches. And guys, this type of reporting I've not seen in the revenue sharing space, laid out as professionally as this is laid out. All right, so you can see here that this training position referred to another training position, and that training position made a $2,500 purchase. This position got paid a 10% override or $250. Now the other thing real quickly here is under, if you click on power generational bonuses, you'll see it says set up how you wish to receive your commissions. Okay, this is what I want to make sure, and I probably won't click anymore so that I'll be clear. I want to make sure that we understand some things here. When the daily revenue sharing starts, the maximum amount of your daily revenue that comes from the daily business, our bonus pool, okay? You've got points, company shares, per point, you get paid whatever you get paid. The maximum that you can send to your eCash from that is going to be 60%. However, last night when people saw this, they see that this eCash you can set to 100% of eCash, and that confused some people. Let me make sure you understand. This section here is talking about your commissions. You referred Joe. Joe purchased JubiBucks from either he purchased JubiBucks from his eCash. Maybe that eCash came from commissions. Maybe that eCash came from the fact that he loaded new funds into eCash. When he purchases JubiBucks, you could opt to receive 100% of that as eCash commissions. You could opt to receive 100% of that as eCash commissions. That's different from your daily revenue. That's different from your daily revenue. You could opt to receive 100% of that as eCash. And most of your systems were set defaulted to 100% going to eCash, which is why when you went in your back office yesterday, you saw however much was sitting in eCash. Now, what some of us then did, like what I did, was I then took that eCash and I purchased more JubiBucks. I went to my eCash tab, saw where I could purchase more JubiBucks to the JubiBuck manager, and decided to do that. Or you could come down here and you can change this allocation. So what I did today is I chose to change my allocation to 0. What that told the system is, anytime I get a commission, instead of that commission going to eCash and then me having to go the next step and take the eCash and buy more JubiBucks, just pay me my commission in the form of JubiBucks. Now, you don't have to set it to 0. It's defaulted to 100%. Some of you may choose to keep it at 100%, and then you manually decide how you want to do your eCash. Do you want to put some in your pocket? Do you want to use some as a pay it forward for someone else? Do you want to, you know, whatever combination? It's your money. You do whatever it is you want to. What I did, because I'm committing for the next 105 days, actually a little bit longer than that with the, since the daily revenue is a few days from starting, I want all of my commissions to go to JubiBucks to give away to create more Jubi points. So I decided to come back here and change mine to 0. You can do that. You can follow that. You can do some other percentage, or you can leave it as is. Okay? The same thing happens with some of these other commissions, like your new customer acquisition bonus. I've not done a video on this yet. We will do. We will go through every part of the compensation now that the PDF is in the back office. When we get back, one of the things that I'll be doing is going through every part of the compensation through that PDF, and including the requirements, so that there'll be no question. There'll be in the back office. There'll be no question as to what is a power generational bonus, how do I get it, what's my qualifications, what's the daily revenue, what's my qualifications. All of that will be back there. Of course, we got a lot of catch up to do when we get back next week, but we'll start on that on next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the other webinar to get to. Won't be able to get to your questions. Love each and one of you. And hopefully you'll be joining the next webinar. We love each and every one of you. Congratulations for all of your successes. And let's go and build a huge organization, a huge business, ladies and gentlemen. Not just a company, it's a movement. Good day, everyone. Good night.
So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please contact your direct sponsor. Otherwise, you can send us a support ticket on our JubiGlobal team site. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing of your success.